Today we are going to discuss about cellular injury. Basic principle. Cellular injury occurs when a stress exceeds the cell's ability to adapt. The likelihood of injury depends on the type of stress, its severity, and the type of cell affected. Neurons are highly susceptible to ischemic injury, whereas skeletal muscle is relatively more resistant. Number 2. Slowly developing ischemia, for example, renal artery atherosclerosis, results in atrophy, whereas acute ischemia, for example, renal artery embolus, result in injury. Common causes of cellular injury includes inflammation, nutritional deficiency or excess, hypoxia, trauma, and genetic mutations. Hypoxia. Low oxygen delivery to tissues, important cause of cellular injury. Oxygen is the final electron acceptor in the electron transport chain of oxidative phosphorylation. Number 2. Decreased oxygen impairs oxidative phosphorylation resulting in decreased ATP production. Number 3. Lack of ATP, essential energy source, leads to cellular energy. Causes of hypoxia include ischemia, hypoxemia and decreased oxygen carrying capacity of blood. Ischemia is decreased blood flow through an organ. Arises with number 1. Decreased arterial perfusion, for example, atherosclerosis. Number 2. Decreased venous drainage, for example, Budd-Chiari syndrome. Number 3. Shock, generalized hypotension resulting in poor tissue perfusion. Hypoxemia is a low partial pressure of oxygen in the blood. Arises with high altitude. Decreased barometric pressure results in decreased partial pressure of the oxygen. Number 2. Hypoventilation, increased partial pressure of the carbon dioxide results in decreased partial pressure of the oxygen. Number 3. Diffusion defect, partial pressure of the oxygen not able to push as much oxygen into the blood due to a thicker diffusion barrier, for example, interstitial pulmonary fibrosis. Number 4. Volume over Q mismatch, blood bypass, oxygenated lung circulation problem, for example, right to left shunt, or oxygenated air cannot reach blood, ventilation problem, for example, atelectasis. Decreased oxygen carrying capacity arises with hemoglobin loss or dysfunction. Examples include anemia, decrease in RBC mass, partial pressure of the oxygen normals, SaO2 normal, saturation of the oxygen normal. Number 2. Carbon monoxide poisoning. The diagram shows keratomalacia, and the second one describe about myositis ossificans. Carbon monoxide binds hemoglobin more avidly than oxygen. Partial pressure of the oxygen normal, saturation of the oxygen decreased. Exposures include smoke from fires and exhaust from cars or gas heaters. Classic finding is cherry red appearance of the skin. Early sign of exposure is headache. Significant exposure leads to coma and death. Methemoglobinemia. Iron in heme is oxidized to ferrous, which cannot bind oxygen. Partial pressure of oxygen normal. Saturation of the oxygen decreased. Seen with oxidant stress, for example, sulfur and nitrate drugs, or in a newborn. Classic finding is cyanosis with chocolate colored blood. Treatment is intravenous methylene blue, which helps reduce Fe3 plus back to Fe2 plus state. Reversible and irreversible cellular injury. Hypoxia impairs oxidative phosphorylation resulting in decreased ATP. Low ATP disrupt key cellular functions including number 1. Sodium potassium pump resulting in sodium and water buildup in the cell. Number 2. Calcium pump resulting in calcium buildup in the cytosol of the cell. Number 3. Aerobic glycolysis resulting in a switch to anaerobic glycolysis. Lactic acid buildup results in low pH which denatures protein and precipitate DNA. The initial phase of injury is reversible. The hallmark of reversible injury is cellular swelling. Cytosol swelling results in loss of microvilli and membrane blabbing. Swelling of the rough endoplasmic reticulum results in dissociation of the ribosomes and decreased protein synthesis. Eventually, the damage becomes irreversible. The hallmark of irreversible injury is membrane damage. Number 1. Plasma membrane damage results in cytosolic enzymes leaking into the serum, for example, cardiac troponin. Number 2. Additional calcium entering into the cell. Number 2. Mitochondrial membrane damage results in loss of the electron transport chain, inner mitochondrial membrane. Cytochrome C leaking into cytosol activates apoptosis. Number 3. Lysosome membrane damage results in hydrolytic enzymes leaking into the cytosol, which in turn are activated by the high intracellular calcium. The end result of irreversible injury is the cell death. In this diagram, we can also see the gross appearance in the A picture, in the B figure the microscopic appearance, and on the C figure normal kidney histology for components. Thank you for today. Relax you.